Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl sales climbed to 3 million in US. Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl has reached 3 million in traditional album sales, physical and digital purchases, across all versions of the album, according to initial reports to data tracking firm Luminate. On the album's first day of release, October 3rd, it cleared 2.7 million sold. After Showgirl's first day, it captured the second largest sales week for an album in the modern era, since Luminate began electronically tracking data in 1991. The only larger sales week in that span of time was registered by the opening frame of Adele's 25, which sold 3.378 million copies in its first week in 2015. Showgirl has earned over 3.2 million equivalent album units in the US. Each unit equals one album sale, or 10 individual tracks sold from an album, or 3,750 ad-supported or 1,250 paid/subscription on-demand official audio and video streams generated by songs from an album. Of note, none of the tracks from the album are available to purchase individually on digital stores. With 3.2 million equivalent album units earned, Showgirl already has the second largest week, by equivalent album units, for any album since the Billboard 200 began ranking the week's most popular albums by equivalent album units with the December 13, 2014 dated chart. The largest week, by equivalent album units, for any album, in that span of time, was registered by the debut week of Adele's 25, which launched with 3.482 million units on the December 12, 2015 chart. Showgirl got a mid-week boost with the release of 4 new CD variants of the album, exclusively sold through Swift's official web store. Available for a limited time, each CD had alternate cover art, the album's 12 songs, plus 2 unique bonus tracks for each CD, alternate versions of songs from the album. These 4 CDs join 23 previously available physical versions of the album, across vinyl, CD and cassette, and 2 digital download editions, a standard wide version, and iTunes exclusive version with a bonus video. Also helping Showgirl was a restock of a previously available deluxe CD boxed set, sold through Swift's store, containing a branded cardigan sweater and a copy of the CD. Swift herself has been on the promotional trail, chatting up the album on radio programs and sitting down for an interview on NBC's The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, October 6th. Her film Taylor Swift, the official release party of a Showgirl barnstormed movie theaters over the October 3rd to 5th weekend, coming in atop the box office at US and Canada movie theaters. As for Showgirl's streaming start, its 12 songs generated over 300 million on-demand official streams in its first 2 days in the US, October 3rd to 4th. Swift holds the record for the largest streaming week for an album, when the Tortured Poets department debuted with 891.37 million on-demand official streams for the 31 songs on its deluxe edition in 2024. The most streamed song on Showgirl in its first 2 days is The Fate of Ophelia, with more than 48 million official on-demand streams. That number could grow significantly following the song's official music video premiere on YouTube on Sunday, October 5th. Luminate sales, streaming and airplay data powers Billboard's charts. All numbers in this story reflect US consumption only. The current tracking week ends on October 9th. The album's first week numbers, equivalent album units, total traditional album sales and streaming figures, are expected to be announced by Billboard on Sunday, October 12th, along with its assumed large debut on the multi-metric Billboard 200 albums chart, dated October 18th. The Billboard 200 chart ranks the most popular albums of the week in the US based on multi-metric consumption as measured in equivalent album units, compiled by Luminate. For all chart news, follow at Billboard and at Billboard Charts on both X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. If The Life of a Showgirl debuts atop the Billboard 200, it will mark Swift's 15th #1 album, lifting her past Drake and Jay-Z for the most #1 albums among soloists, and becoming the sole act with the second most #1s. She is currently tied with Drake and Jay-Z with 14 #1s each, and only the Beatles, with 19 #1s, have more, dating to when the chart began publishing on a regular, weekly basis in 1956. All 14 of Swift's full-length studio albums and re-recorded projects from 2008's Fearless, her second album, through 2024's The Tortured Poets Department have debuted at number 1. Previously, October 4th, Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl album is off to a sparkling start in the United States. On its first day of release, October 3rd, the set sold 2.7 million copies in traditional album sales, physical and digital purchases, across all versions of the album, according to initial reports to data tracking firm Luminate. That marks Swift's biggest week ever, and the second largest sales week for any album in the modern era, since Luminate began electronically tracking data in 1991. The only larger sales week in that span of time was registered by the opening frame of Adele's 25, which sold 3.378 million copies in its first week in 2015. Showgirl also stuns with a new modern-era record, 1991 present, for the most copies of a vinyl album sold in a single week, having already sold 1.2 million copies on wax. That breaks the single-week record, set by Swift in 2024, when her last album, The Tortured Poets Department, sold 859,000 copies on vinyl in its first week. Further news of first-week building sales and streaming activity for the album, as provided by Luminate, will be reported in the coming days. The Life of a Showgirl was announced on August 12, and Swift's official web store began taking pre-orders for the album soon after. The set was issued as a widely available streaming edition and in 3 widely available versions to purchase across all participating retailers, a standard CD, vinyl and digital download album. There is a plethora of further variants of the album to purchase, with more details on the assorted versions later in this story.